this last, well, it's been more than a year now. It wasn't supposed to be more than a year, but it is because of the stupid COVID. Because of that. So, what we've been talking about over these last several sessions is pointless without the magnifying Christ aspect of it. Amen? So that is what it is all about. If you did not pick up a note sheet, would you go get one from the chair right there? Make sure you get one. Make sure you get a pen. I want you to be able to jot some stuff down as we go through this evening. We've been talking a lot about the way we designed Lead VLC was to include a lot of things about who you are. We've talked about Enneagram. We've talked about spiritual gifts. We've talked about those types of leadership things. We've talked about what leadership even is and why we're even doing this. And so these last three, which we've got this session tonight, and then we've got April and May, and then with this class of leaders will graduate. And so that'll be a pretty substantial moment for you in your life, I would think. It only means you don't have to come the first Tuesday of every month. So we wanted to get into tonight, talk about some habits that make us good leaders. And I think when you build good habits, you build good leaders. And so if you look at this first little thesis statement there at the top, it says this. It says there are a few core habits that can make or break us as leaders. Balancing life, work, and ministry while still growing spiritually can be a challenge sometimes. Learning to manage time well, take initiative, and maintain focus in a world of distractions are keys to success in this area, especially when you're someone who likes to say yes, right? And there's some people, my wife, for one of them, who has no problem saying no. If she doesn't want to do that, she has no obligation. She never feels any obligation. She'll say, no, I do not want to. And there's people that are wired like that, and there's people that are wired completely opposite, where they can't help but say yes. Bobby, you're probably one of those, aren't you? I would think that you would be one of them who would say just yes, tell me yes, anything. I don't care what it is, and I don't care what it costs me. I don't care how much time I've already given. I don't care anything like that. I'm a yes guy, and so there's a lot of you like that as well. I think that no matter where we fall on that spectrum, we tend to be involved. You guys are leaders. You guys are people that lead in ministries or that want to lead in ministries. And so learning to manage our time is important. Learning to manage time well, learning to take initiative, and learning to maintain focus in a world of distractions are keys to success in this area. So I want to talk to you about 3 habits of leadership tonight, okay? 3 things that I hope that all of them may not apply to you, but I hope that you'll be able to grab some nuggets out of this tonight to help you become better in these 3 areas. Okay, so let's talk about managing your time. Let's talk about how to better manage your time. Okay, there's 7 things, shocker, that I want to share with you about managing your time. Okay, the first thing is to keep a short to-do list of your top priorities. We're just going to jump right in here. Okay, keep a short to-do list of the things that are most important. What do you want to get done today? What do you want to get done this week? Write down the things that are most important. One of the things that that our staff around here will tell you is that if we're talking in staff meeting about something and someone takes what we call the monkey, like we say, who's got the monkey? And that means it's your responsibility. And Jonah's got the monkey? Jonah has the monkey. All right, you got the monkey. Yeah, that's right. So if the monkey becomes yours and you do not write it down, it sends me into like spasms. Like I cannot, like inside of me, I'm just dying because I know you're not going to remember, right? And that's probably because I don't remember if I don't write things down. And so making a list is very important, okay? So then as you're working through your list, if you've got things to do, and y'all, this applies all over the place. This applies as a homeschool mom. This applies as a chemist working in a chemistry factory or whatever you work at, Lance, that I wouldn't understand. This applies in leading police guys and ladies. This is important that you put in front of you what you need to accomplish. And I would say do it every single day. It's a good way to start your day, or the good way to end your day the day before is to give yourself things that you need to do over the next little bit and give yourselves deadlines and then make them things that you can cross off. That's a great feeling, isn't it? to say, I've done this, it's done, and it's gone. That's a good thing, all right? So I use the Reminders app on my phone and my iPad and my computer because they all just sync, right? And that's a beautiful thing to be able to cross things off, and it crosses out all over the place, okay? Second thing, I would say, don't robo-check your email. In other words, don't be tied to a robot who's a slave to your email inbox, and every time it dings, you're like, oh. I mean, do not be like that, okay? Now, some of you are sitting here going, I have no problem with this. How many of you have over 1,000 unread messages in your email? On your little thing, your little red number says more than 1,000. Oh. Okay. That's giving me stress balls on the inside. All right. So you have no problem not responding to the ping, all right? You probably don't even have the ping. You probably turn the ping off. That's probably a good thing to do, okay? The way that handling email is most effective is to set a time to sit down and do email. And you do that in the morning, in the afternoon, whatever, a couple times a day. Is that what you're talking about? What's the point in having an email box if you got 10,000? Yes. Yes. Yes, of course. Of course. Yes. Yes. That's why you unsubscribe from things. That's why. $21,000. Just you ever even opened that email? Okay. All right. Let me give you my perspective. This is my perspective on email. You can take it and you can leave it. I'll just tell you what I do, what works for me, okay? I do my best to get to inbox 0. Yes? Thank you. Inbox 0 is a wonderfully satisfying thing, okay? Now, what that means, is when an email comes into your box, you do something with it, okay? And let me give you this example. My dad, okay, my dad is 85 years old now, okay? He'll come in, and he will have brought the mail in from the mailbox, okay, into the house, and he'll come, and he'll set it down here on the counter, and then he'll go do something, and then he comes back over here, and he picks it up, and and it's mostly junk, because that's what we get in the mail, right? And he'll put it over here, and then he'll go walk over, and then he'll come back over here, oh, that's still here, and he'll come, and I'm like, Dad, throw it away. Walk in the house, I need this one. The rest of these are trash, okay? That's what you are doing with your email when you're sitting there handling it 15 times. You're paying attention to it, and it's sapping your attention, right? Comes in, do something with it. Make some folders. Go over here that say to do, that say important, say not important, but I got to keep it. And then delete them. Delete them out of there. If it's junk, right-click on it and say mark as junk, and then everything else that comes will go to your junk. And there's this little unsubscribe button now, too, in all of your phones and everything like that. Hit that unsubscribe. Idiot sends the email for you and pulls you off the list. Yeah? Do you? Yeah? Okay. All right. It's okay to be scared. Little fear is not bad. Okay? My point is, if you have so many, you're going to miss things that you need to see. That's the point, is that you don't miss things that you need to see. So if you can get down, touch them once, get them out of there, do something, it's going to help you, okay? Okay. All right. Implement clearly stated work hours. Here's your time management thing, number 3. Especially if you are managing people, okay? If you're managing people and you are working during the day, I do my best. Again, y'all, a lot of this was what works for me. I hope it works for you. Take what you can out of it. Get some nuggets, okay? Man, when you're at home, if you work and you come home, silence that phone, put it in the other room, okay? Don't be tied to it. while you're sitting there with your husband or your wife or your kids. We have a joke at my house when that we don't have phones at our table, okay? And when someone does, like say Cameron's waiting on some call from somebody or something, I made the joke once, and now it's the joke all the time. Cameron, are we having dinner with you or with you and all your friends? And then, I don't know, you were like 12 or something when that happened, but we still say it. And so whenever someone has their phone at the table, we kind of mock them. So mocking is always good. But it works. But it does. We just... Yes, yes. Thanks a lot, Mike. You get me in trouble. That's number 5. Okay, don't pass the buck. That's another session. Okay, we're not talking about passing the buck or not tonight. All right, so I do my best to talk to our staff and to our leaders about if you need me about something that is not an emergency. If it's an emergency, call any time of day, obviously. But if it's not an emergency, it's something that can wait, let's wait. Because when the work day is over, I want to be present at home, okay? And I try my best to do that. And with ministry, it's hard sometimes because you're also dealing with people who have worked all day, and sometimes you got to talk to them at night. But to the best of my ability, that's what I do. So we ask the staff, let's communicate really, let's work hard during the day, and let's be off at night with our families, okay? So as you apply that into your world, it's a good rule of thumb to have, okay? All right. It's good to have online hours and offline hours. Okay. Okay, I already talked a lot about this. Next one is organize your email, okay? I already talked about that one. That one's organized. Number 5. The first one was just supposed to be about don't checking your email, and that one's organized. Okay, number 5, use your calendar and use it wisely. Okay, we are in an age when we have electronic calendars, and again, they usually sync across all our devices. And if you have not discovered the family calendars or the shared calendars, you need to discover those, okay? We implemented that at our house a few years ago as Cameron got to the age where he had a car and started leaving the house. Then we had Cameron's calendar, and Angie and I could see it. So we still kind of do that. As he has things that affect us, if he goes and does his things, but it affects us at dinner time, when we try to have dinner, which we end up doing as a family once or twice a week maybe at this point, we need to know, do you have a dinner plan tonight? So he puts it on his calendar, we look at it, okay? So it's advanced planning, it's thinking about it ahead of time, and it's teaching each person to be disciplined to put their thing on there. So as you do that within your family, if you have some team things that you're doing that people can subscribe to that calendar, do it that way. We have a staff calendar that goes to all of our phones. Anybody that subscribes to it is on there. They can see anything that happens in this church, okay? So use that calendar, use it wisely, do it with each other and the people that you're leading, okay? Good? 2 more things and I'll ask you for comments, all right? Make meetings efficient. When you talk about time management, make them efficient. I do not mind meetings at all. In fact, I enjoy them if they are enjoyable. It's when you're wasting time that drives me crazy. And so we do our best, start our staff meetings at 9, get done 10:30-ish. We try to, that's our target, okay? We're in, we're out, we're talking about things, we're letting them move along, we're keeping these meetings going so that we're not wasting people's time, okay? And that's really important that you try to put an end time on your meetings, and then you just make them efficient that way, okay? So when I would challenge you with your teams that you're leading here, if you say, hey, we're having a 7 o'clock meeting, I would say, we're having this meeting from 7 to 8:30, or whatever it is, and that's what we try to do, lead VLC. We try to be done at 8:30, and most of the time we hit it pretty close, because I want you to know that I value your time, and I'm going to do everything I can to cram as much as I can into the time that you have agreed to give me. You've agreed to give me an hour and a half, and so I want to be faithful to show you that I respect you by doing everything I can to value your time, because I value your time and I want you to value my time, okay? So that's true with your teams that you're leading around here and the ministries that you're involved in and the things that you would do outside the church. So set those meetings and be faithful to end them as absolutely closely to how you can, to what you say you're going to do. Okay? And number 7 is do what works for you. But don't be afraid to try something new that might stretch you. So do what works for you, but don't say, well, that's not going to work for me, without trying it. Try something and see if it makes a difference in X area. Okay, any thoughts on any of those? Let me stop talking for a second. Any thoughts on any of those before we keep going? Any of those that you've tried and you're like, that does work, or that does not work, or anything like that, Bill?
Sure. I used to be a long to-do list person. I have 50 things on the to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
And go and try to mark them all. And what I found is I spent a lot of time worrying about the to-do list rather than getting things done. And I discovered several years ago the concept of taking your top 2 or 3 priorities.
Mm-hmm.
And early in the morning, the hardest one you have.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, what we all do is we take the easy ones, you know,
Yeah.
when they're close and we can easily handle it, takes 5 minutes, it takes 10 minutes. But that one is going to take a bite of your time. We tend, or maybe it's not as pleasant to do or whatever, we tend to put them off. So later in the day, we're not, our brain.
Not as sharp. Mm-hmm.
We're tired and all those sorts of things. So take those top 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, what else? Any other comments?
I've done the whole checklist thing, like outside of work, just like in personal life too.
Uh-huh.
Like picking like 3 things, or like 4 things that I want to get done the next day.
Mm-hmm.
It like helps to do it the night before,
Mm-hmm.
and setting aside like 3 things. And the notes app on iPhone has a little check bubble thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I say about 4 things that I want to get done the next day. And the feeling of hitting all of those at the end of the day feels way better than like getting out of them. So
So it's better to do them than to not do them.
Yeah,
Hey, now we're on to something.
Right.
That is brilliant. That's groundbreaking. Okay, Pat?
At work, we have some issues we deal with. So what we do is, it's been told,
Mm-hmm.
I've got one stupid issue, drive issues,
Mm-hmm.
address, stop changes, things like that. That's all I do. And read it, and then I go back for what I'm seeing. That way, the red rings are about
Mm-hmm.
the numbers in it. So, but that way it's moving, it's prioritized, and it's in
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Today I'm going to focus on answering, going back and respond to all the stop changes.
Mm.
Tomorrow I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you get in a focus and you bang it out. Yeah. Okay? Okay. Anybody else? Don't be afraid to try something. Some of these things take a little bit of work on the front end, like setting up folders in your email. That takes a little bit of work. But getting it moving and getting it going is important. Okay?
Good thing with us, like, obviously it's scared the we're not
Uh-huh. Yeah.
server somewhere, so.
Although you don't leave stuff in your trash folder, you gotta get rid of that.
No, even if I get rid of that, it still goes to the server, so.
Yeah.
You know, 3 years ago,
Oh, did you?
that I needed.
On calendars,
Uh-huh.
hold up for 15 minutes on each side. That way when I'm behind or ahead,
Mhm.
I've got just a little bit of wiggle room for bottom line.
Mhm.
Once you will, it's like that.
Mhm.
So it just gives you a little bit of.
Yes. Yes, that's good.
The hardest thing for me is,
Older than me.
You see the day I come into staff meeting with a giant calendar spiral, work with
Mhm.
something happened from year to year. I still do everything on the computer as well.
Mhm.
I need that much reinforcement. But it really is, it's hard for me to get away from some of those habits and utilize all the tools
Yeah.
available.
Right.
That's just what it's for really. So I end up doing twice the work.
Mhm. Mhm.
Writing everything, and I'm sending everything, I'm sharing everything, we're all happy.
Right, right.
I've got to get better.
Streamlining the process a little
I
bit.
got to get rid of
Right. Makes you feel it comfortable and secure. Your big notebook.
Do what works for you, Bobby.
I believe that was number 7.
It actually says that something.
I think it does. All right, let's talk about taking initiative. All right, personal initiative is this: it's taking an active and self-starting approach to work or ministry and going beyond what is formally required in a given job. Okay, so that's what personal initiative is. So how to build initiative in your team, and whether your team where you're leading a bunch of middle school, 8th grade leaders, Nick, like you are, or whether you are, whether you're leading something in a larger ministry, whether you are leading someone in your team at work. These things, initiative is so important, and there's a big difference between someone who is on your team who takes initiative and someone who doesn't, right? And we've all been around both, and so how can we build these? Okay, how can we build them? First thing, communicate what's important. You've got to understand what's most important first before you can communicate to other people what's important. So and communicating, when you're trying to build initiative, communicate where you're trying to head. Okay? So if you're trying to head here, Liz, if you're trying to build a hospitality team that is kind and greetingful, someone who help people who know what's going on around the church, if all these things that you would like to do, then, okay, that's the end goal, and you put that in front. Now, how people get there, you want them to take their initiative, right? So if someone says, you know what, I think that if we just started staining on our heads outside, then that would help people, whatever it is, then, okay, so that's an initiative. Not all ideas are great, but that's an initiative, and you want that, build that initiative, okay? So you want to, and that was a stupid example off the top of my head, so just forget what I said. So putting the end goal out there, the steps people take individually to get to the goal is the initiative that you want to build in them, correct? Colin, you're in the middle of building. Ooh, I called on you, didn't I? Since you're such a basketball player, I will use not the example of basketball. You're building the student worship team, correct? Okay. Sebe and Jonah and Cameron have sat down with you at different times, had different conversations, et cetera, that have said, Colin, this is what we want this to look like. This is what we'd like to, for this team to, we would like them to lead this event or this Wednesday night, et cetera. So they've kind of given you some goals, right? But they've also given you the ability to say, now, Colin, you be you. They haven't told you what notes to play. They haven't told you what instruments to play, what tracks to build, what kids to recruit, right? They've given you structure to work under, but they're setting you free to use your initiative to build that team, to establish that ministry. Is that correct? And what have they done or not done, to help you or not help you? If there's anything, what have they done to kind of help you see? What are you looking for? You made a list. How were you recruited to? How did this happen? To get it going.
Well, we talked about it. I said, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and continue on with that. And then next thing you know, I've got a title and an email.
You've got a title and an email.
I'll jump in here. Actually, the first time we met, you told me, hey, I have a vision. You came to me immediately with this initiative. You're the perfect example of this, because you came immediately and said, I have a vision for student worship. And I said, awesome, because we need vision, we need initiative, and I can't play an instrument, so bring it on.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, no, you brought this up. You were the one that said, this is all response to your initiative.
Yes. Did you write it down? I think you need to write it down. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I think that the key here, as the three of them kind of help Colin establish this up, and they each have a role in kind of helping you get established, is helping you know what parameters you have. How if you go too far in one way or the other, to say that was too far over here, and I have no idea what I'm talking, I'm just giving you, I don't have any specific examples is what I'm saying. But you're trying to move this way, so let's keep moving you this way, but within this, you take your initiative and you do it the way that Colin wants to do it. Okay, is that pretty accurate, Steve? Yeah? Cameron, is that pretty accurate?
Yes.
Okay, good, good. All right. So communicate what's important. Then build competence. Okay, people have got to be competent and empowered within their roles so they can think and act for themselves. And that helps them perform well. Okay, now this may be that you give them training on how to be more grateful, or how to play their instrument better. You give them information, send them an article about something, send them a resource, send them something that helps them read to learn about this or that. You're equipping them to help build their competence. Okay? Good. Not only build competence, but build confidence. Yeah. Okay? I think a lot of time people do not take initiative because they are scared. Because they're scared of failing, or they're scared of doing it wrong, or they're scared of not doing it the way you want them to do it, etc. Okay? You got to remove that. You got to say, this is going to be the goal. I want you to be confident in what you're doing. I want you to be able to take the initiative, and if you're having trouble or if you're thinking, let's talk about this, okay? The way to build initiative is not to say, hey, can you go do this and I'll see you in a year, okay? It's walking alongside them, helping them build competence, helping them build confidence in what they're doing by having success and being encouraged to take creativity and all those things that you want them to do that helps build initiative in them. Okay? Go.
You also got to kind of build the freedom to fail also.
Yep.
Some of the greatest successes come on the heels of failure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, I mean, some of the greatest stories in the car industry.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that failed.
Right. Right.
They learn. So sometimes we hear that word, fail.
Uh-huh.
I don't even, maybe we shouldn't even use that. Find something different.
Right.
Because we associate so much negativity.
Right.
It's okay.
Right.
It's okay if something.
That's right. So not having the fear of failure doesn't mean you can't fail. It means if you do fail, it's okay, let's go. Did you know that Formula 409, that there were, that cleaning stuff? There was actually 408 other formulas that didn't make it because it didn't work. So the Formula 409 was actually the 409th combination. So 408 failures lands you on one that works. And so don't be afraid of failure. Pick yourself up and keep walking, okay? Keep yourself up and keep training. Okay, number 4. Last one here under this category, build a diverse team. We are tempted to surround ourselves with people who are like us, aren't we? Because that just makes us feel comfortable. But man, I encourage you to surround yourself with people that are not like you, and that people that do not think the same way that you do, because that helps you grow together stronger. Okay, diversity in skills, experience, knowledge, age. People who have different strengths than you. It's important because that makes your team stronger all the way around. Okay. All right, any thoughts on anything in that little section, in initiative, on diversity in team, confidence, competence, or communication? Anything else?
No, I really,
Yes.
there's not a whole lot of young people in here.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you say email, they check out.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed the technicians that I'm managing this week,
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell them, go check your email.
Right.
I'll send them stuff, it's not gonna get a response.
Mm-hmm.
So communicating via text or group meet
Right.
will engage a lot of these others that don't do email well. Telling us to do it, that's great, but I think tell them to go check their email. If there's a lot of content, that makes sense.
Thank you, Hunter. Because he's right. I think the younger you are, the less you depend on email unless you're forced to, unless you have to, unless you're in an organization that does depend on it.
There's teams here, a lot of teams are going to be.
It's true. Okay.
You got to be willing to, if you're reading, you've got to have, diverse, and like I've got a guy who's 80 years old, vice versa, I've got a 38-year-old. We set up teams on every Wednesday, they have to do some training, the 38-year-old is up, it's done in like 3 seconds. The 80-year-old is still trying to log on 2 weeks ago. And so you've got to be willing to walk with them. And so, I have to literally send 31 text messages saying check your email because most of my people are already retired people and half of them don't have use. It's like,
So there's a sweet spot in the middle of people that use email, huh? And think about the upper side of it as well. Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It's good. Go ahead, Steve. What? Got to use multiple ways. You guys have discovered that in communicating with parents, right? You gotta communicate multiple ways to catch it. Okay, Bill?
All this talk about monkey, I'm still trying to get it. But I have a story about that.
Okay.
Sometimes when I teach leadership class, I ask the question, who's your monkey? And so there was an experiment they did. And they put a monkey in a cage. And then they did all these stimulus to the monkey and noise and light and all this. And they measured the stress of the monkey. They had to count it. And then they did the same experiment and put a monkey in a cage. And the stress of the monkey was reduced by 50%. So as a leader, who's your monkey? Who's the person that walks with you and you talk to that can help you reduce your stress?
That's good. The monkey was a book that we read at the very beginning of the church. I think, Rachel, you might be able to remember. It was a monkey. You got the monkey on your back, and that's the thing that you're carrying, and I can't remember what it is. Now, do you remember? Okay, we'll have to find that out because we've been saying it now. It's like one of those things you just say forever, and you've forgotten why you even were saying it. That's a whole different story. Interesting. Okay. All right. Last thing would be to maintain focus. Okay? How do you maintain focus in a world of distracciones? All right. So how to become a more... Do you like my Spanish, Jonah? Yeah, Jonah. Thank you. Jonah says stuff like that all the time. And people are like, I didn't know you spoke Spanish. And he's like, I don't. I just make words sound Spanish, like distracciones. All right. Is that Spanish for distractions? I didn't think so. All right. So how to become a more focused leader. Speaking of focused, early to bed, early to rise. That's the first thing, okay? Y'all, Pat's early to rise but late to bed tonight. Thank you for sacrificing. Now, there's something about being up and going. All right? Being up and going, and whatever that means for you. And I know that we are all of us are in different, we're from college to retirement age and everywhere in between. And some of us work full time, some of us work part time, some of us work at home, etc. So the scheduling, basically the point of this is scheduling your day. Okay? And not being afraid to get to bed a little bit early so that you can get up just a little bit early and accomplish those things. Man, it's terrible, and I know that you probably don't like it either, when you wake up and you're in a rush. And you got to get out the door, you cram something in your mouth that's for breakfast, if you even do that, maybe just drink a cup of coffee on your way, and then you come in on 2 wheels to a meeting that you're already 10 minutes late for, and it just kind of throws your whole day off, right? Being disciplined and saying, I'm going to get up in time for me to get up, have a cup of coffee while I read the Word, while I take a breath, while I look and see what my day is about, where I am structuring my day. And you know what? I'm not going to be the last one to arrive at that meeting. I'm going to be the first one to arrive at that meeting. I'm going to be there early. We have a saying around here that is, if I can remember it, how it goes, early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable. Okay? Early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable. Okay? Okay. So yeah, so that's what we want to do, is you want to set the standard for people, okay? And getting up early, taking care of your things helps you be structured and orderly in your life, okay? Number 2, strengthen your mental focus. Did you know what the average attention span is? About 14 minutes in America today. And now I've been talking to you for about 25, so I'm in trouble. But the average attention span is about 14 minutes. And so here's a few things that you can do. Just stop and think about where you are mentally. Where would you say right now where your mental focus is? Would you say it's super sharp? Would you say it's cloudy? I'm not just saying right now in this moment. I'm saying generally speaking today. Are you super sharp? Are you on it? Are you super cloudy? Do you feel like you go through your day with a haze? Do you feel like and so begin thinking, actually stopping to think about what your mental focus is can help you say, okay, what do I need to do here? Okay, so a few things you can do is eliminate some distractions out of your life, whether that's going through and turning off a bunch of notifications on your phone, because your phone will ding, 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 ding all day, and you're just looking at it for no reason. Whether that's eliminating some social media, and maybe the notifications out of social media as well. Maybe that will help you with your distractions. Every year when we go through the fast that we do in January, every single year people go, why am I so tied into social media? I just have realized I don't need it. And then by the time January comes back around, you're back at it again, right? And so, man, eliminate the things that distract you. And sometimes some people can handle social media just fine. But if it's distracting you, then nix it. Stop multitasking. Okay? You guys, I have got to, and I really have experienced this over this last 5 weeks as I've been trying to put this book together, is I'm finding that I jump from one thing to the next. And I've got 10 windows open on my computer. I've got 2 screens, and I've got 10 things open at one time. And I'm here, and I'm typing, and I'm going good, and I'm like, oh, what's that? Oh, yeah. And then I come back, and I'm like, and it takes an extra minute to get back to be focused where you were, right? And so what I ended up doing was just turning it all off, all my notifications, silence my phone, work for 2 hours, and go get after it. Get going, go, then stop. Answer everything at one time. It's compartmentalizing things. It's getting things done, and then let me go over here. Let me respond to my text messages. Let me respond to my email messages. Let me respond to all these other communication ways that we have, and let me stop multitasking, because that just slows you down. Okay, and it makes you make mistakes and makes your focus be off. Okay? Then I'd say be more present. Okay? If you're going to strengthen your mental focus, be more present. Don't always be thinking about other things out there and what needs to happen next and what do I got to do now. It's what am I doing right now? And then I said take short breaks. Get up, walk around for a few minutes if you're at a computer, if you're doing something, and then just kind of keep practicing this focus. Is there anything that you'd add in that mental focus category that has helped you? I'd love to know.
First off, I think 14 minutes is generous.
Do you? Probably.
Talk for like 9 minutes. So I think it's a twofold thing.
Uh-huh.
First, I think one of my messages, about a year ago, just talking about the lack of focus in my life.
Uh-huh.
I was ADD.
Mm-hmm.
So all the things you were talking about, things I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I had that kind of day today. The phone is open and I do something. I'm like, look. Next thing it's 2:30. I have to
Yeah.
focus. But then the flip of that is the people we minister to, talk to, we have to be focused for their sake, sharp.
Mm-hmm.
If you come in and we've all done it, or we're just droning on or whatever, and that's why this week is a good one. We mix it up,
Yeah.
keeping it sharp.
Yeah.
We have to do that. It's not they get it, and it's massive.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
There's several programs out there that you can turn everything off, your notifications, closing your windows, nothing pop up. You know, you can do it for like an hour,
Mhm.
set it out. So it kind of forces you to do that without,
I didn't know that.
you're going to have to go in and enable it. So it takes an active step.
Okay. Okay. Good.
When I get off work, I throw that phone on the charger.
Mhm.
They just try to call me, and I'm like, where are you? And I was like, phone's on the charger. But I get a good hour maybe,
Mhm.
where I'm not focused on anything.
Getting some brain break.
I think mine ends at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay, somebody else? Yeah.
One thing that I do about notifications, but I also take it on my phone specifically. Anything that I get a lot of notifications on, I move all the way back to your pages on your phone. It's moving all the way back to where I have to scroll through, the pages to get to the Facebook or something.
Mhm.
So only the things that I have to answer when I'm in text messages.
It's good. It's good. It's not keeping your.
You look it up, and once your name comes up, you know, automatically see all the little red dots.
Yeah.
You know, because they say, the system say that every fast food restaurant has red or yellow.
Huh.
Because it draws your attention to it, so that you'll stop.
It's interesting.
Those red dots.
I can't stand the red dots. I got to get rid of the red dots. I can't keep the red dots. Okay? Bob?
So I'm just curious, like, how many of us before 2020 did not work at home?
How many did not work at home?
How many went to work before the pandemic hit?
Mhm.
That's it. So everybody mostly works at home. I never worked at home.
Mhm.
I mean, I never worked, yeah, I never worked at home. I'm asking because working at home is tough for me. So I'm asking, I want to know who goes to work and who went to work before 2020, before the pandemic. Because now everybody's home.
A lot of people are. Much more people are than used to be. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, a lot more.
Mhm.
My wife is at home, I'm at home, right?
Mhm.
I mean, we do our work at home, which I can't wait till the building goes. I can have it.
Correct.
Go. I
Correct.
do that. I'm so much better when I get up in the morning, certain time, go to work. But for me to get up, set my alarm, get up and go downstairs, my wife right next to me, because we have like our offices are right next to each other. It's impossible. That's bad. It's impossible. Well, we don't have the space.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's difficult. So I'm just, so a lot of them work at home. How do you manage distractions at home? Because the distractions for me, I mean, there's so many. My daughter comes home from school, and here's another distraction. And it's just,
I have a conversation with Becky with you. I do at the house, but I have to focus on what's in this laptop and stuff. And it helps. Like, if it's not, like you can't talk to them. It's like, no, I can't go clean up the garage. I'm doing my job. So she understands that. It's respectful. But you do feel some pressure that you don't feel when you're in the house.
That's true.
Family. You don't want to like ignore them, try to work. Those are when I was at home running dispatching the buses. It's like people come downstairs, so I'm like, hey, let's do it. So I'm working. Yeah. The laptop literally in my lap is there for a reason. It's really why you don't feel that way. So I think working from home and not used to it has been extremely stressful.
I think trying as much as you can to be by yourself is to be off. I have an office down in the far recesses of our basement, and that's good because I can go and I'm not bothered unless I need to be bothered. That helps.
Lisa had to work
Yeah.
find a spot.
Yes, exactly. And that's a whole nother, yeah. All day, every day. Really? I hadn't noticed that about her.
I gotta listen to the South to drown her out.
Okay.
So my frustration
Okay.
is great.
Okay. Andy, go ahead.
I've been working from home for 20 plus years. My big frustration now that everybody else is working from home, it fills up my calendar with non-productive things because they feel like they need to be justified using their time. So we have a new report we now have to do each week, logging how much time we spent on activities. I spent 33 hours in meetings last week.
All
About 8 different types of meetings and spectrums.
all virtual.
Yeah. Either virtual meetings or phone calls or a combination of them.
Okay.
Sometimes coaching, but sometimes meetings, sometimes listening. That leaves me only 7 hours of productive time, also bio breaks and meeting and other things.
Yes.
Done. Near impossible. So I'm looking forward to moving back out into real life and looking at this. Then I have time to create things that need to be done.
Right.
And time isn't being blocked off. So I find it really annoying when people are texting me and emailing me all the time.
Yes.
It's never ends.
You're just a participant with 33 hours, you're not leading.
Oh no, I'm leading some of them.
Those kind of productivity, in my opinion. You gotta lead your people or teach them.
No, we talked about what we're going to talk about. Yes.
The meeting about the meeting. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's talk about.
Sorry, I know you're.
Go.
I have a practical tip that might help, especially because I'm not great at working on meetings, especially if I feel a little bit foggy. And there's a name for it. I don't know what the name is, but just like set an alarm. Some people use like just a little like kitchen timer or on the phone where you just ask Siri, set it on for 20 minutes, and then mentally say that 20 minutes is blocked off, and I'm not going to do anything except for this one task for those 20 minutes. And there's a whole bunch of psychology things involved, but essentially that helps you get into that state of flow where you're actually, mentally, you're kind of moving and everything's kind of greased and ready to go. And almost every single time, as soon as that alarm goes off, you just turn it off and you keep going and it's like nothing even happened. And it's just a mental thing of saying, okay, all I have to do is 20 minutes. 20 minutes, I can get up and do whatever I want. But mentally, you kind of power up to it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. The other thing I've heard about doing, I've tried it a couple times and it's really hard, is to set a timer and do nothing for like 5 minutes. Just sit there and you're like, this timer has to be going off and it's been like 62 seconds. And you're like, so hard. And you cannot go to sleep. You have to just stare out the window. It's really hard. Okay, let me give you these 4 Ds of productivity and we'll be done, okay? The 4 Ds that I would say would be do, would be the first one. So do, work on tasks that are important and can only be worked on by you, okay? It is in your job description, it's in your realm. That's what you have to do. And those should be the ones that kind of move the needle of progress towards your goal, okay? So those should be the things that only you can do. You do those. Delegate things that are important and need to be done but could be done by somebody else. Think about that if that is a possibility for you to do, to delegate some of this up, because then that frees you up to work on your do list, okay? Delete would be the third one. What are you doing that really does not have to be done? And it's just something maybe you've always done, etc., but it is not essential. Man, don't be scared to delete those things. And then delay would be the fourth one. Would be things that need to be done but really aren't tied to any sort of deadline. Revisit them later until all of your do list is taken care of, and then you come back to the delay list. Okay, so I just want to share those with you. I read that and I thought that was a good way to think about productivity. Okay, yeah.
I'm just add that
Okay.
You got two axes.
Mm-hmm.
One is urgency,
Mm-hmm.
and one is importance.
Uh-huh.
And, low urgency, high urgency, low importance, high importance.
Yes.
You spend all your time in the one box,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's other things, delegate or you don't even do because they're low urgency and not important.
Yes. 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 Love it. Okay. All right. So then I'll go back to point 7 of the first section. Do what works for you. Okay? But don't be scared to try something if it's because it could make you better. And we all want to be better. That's the point. Okay? All right. Let me pray for you. Father, thank you so much for today. Thank you for a chance to be together. I thank you for a chance to think through some of this stuff that's really, kind of nuts and bolts, practical. And God, as I said a minute ago, we're everywhere from college to retirement and working full-time, working part-time, working at home, homeschooling kids, leading ministries, serving in ministries. Lord, we're all over the place with this and with our backgrounds. And so, God, I pray that you'd help us to take a few things from tonight, build those into our leadership as we continue to lead the people that you give us. And God, I pray that you'd give us more people to lead. And I pray that you would, you brought some excellent people through our doors. And I pray that you'd bring more, and I pray that you'd help us to be faithful leaders who care about our leadership and who work on our leadership so that we can lead them well. And so, God, thank you for today. Pray for those who aren't with us tonight, and we give you praise. We give you honor for all things. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. All right. 8:35.